And I'm up to date is ahead. That's good. That's very good. We know that in many cases, keeping yourself up to date is a good way to avoid most viruses and problems.
Yeah, and I mean everything in your possession usually, not only the laptop or tablet, but your phone. I mean, your phone can, get junk in it too. So, you got to be cautious all the way around.
Yep.
I got a kick out of the Microsoft threat labs looking at Apple software.
Yeah.
It's not just us. It's not just us. Them too.
Right.
Got to point the finger elsewhere.
Right. One of the things that today, okay, so I have an e-reader. It's a little e-ink tablet that I read books on, but it is a full-blown Android tablet. I was reading this last night after I'd written this news, and I looked at it and thought, when was the last time I updated this? Mm-hmm. I honestly couldn't remember.
Oh, okay.
Well, I usually turn off Wi-Fi, so it's off the web, because that increases battery life.
Yep.
So I can go a week without recharging the thing. So I plugged it in, turned on Wi-Fi, went and looked for update, and waited about an hour while the thing updated. But it's now fully up to date and works just as nicely as it did before. There are phone updates.
Can you really see that much difference? Or, I mean, since you're using it just for a reader.
I just use it for an e-reader, but the fact is that, I move
There were updates.
books up and down. So yeah, right.
Yeah.
Specially crafted files may yeah.
Right.
You get tricked into downloading the wrong book, you can be screwed.
Right. Well, I only get them from approved sources, like the Trantor Library on the dark web.
Yeah.
But that was a joke, by the way.
You got Harry Seldon's own book?
Right. But it's your phone, it's your tablet, it's your watch, it's your computer, it's your laptop, it's your e-reader. If you've got a Kindle or any other of those e-book readers, they get updates as well. And as Steve said, you can get a malicious download that's not your fault. Mm-hmm. Right? You can download a corrupted file that can damage your machine. You can download a malicious file that can damage your machine. Even in the legit stores, sometimes that sort of thing happens. So updating is the easiest way to get around that. And the easiest way to what?
I say I'm a little nervous upgrading my computer to the new Sequoia. It's too new. Well, the 01 patch has come out. I think I might wait for the 02 patch.
Yeah.
But
well, I remember when you used to say you'd wait for the 01 patch.
Yeah.
Now you're getting more
Just in
conservative.
case. Yeah. Well, because I don't know how OBS is going to work yet, so I'm waiting for them to
patch
somebody
the
else
patch.
to find if that's worth it or
Right.
not. But fortunately, Apple released the Safari update for the last 3 or 4 OSs. So that's the biggest vulnerability was in the Safari web browser, so that updates even on the older OSs.
That is the big thing that we've been seeing. Yes, viruses still exist. Mm-hmm. The problem with viruses is they don't die, right? They just keep circulating. But most of the bad guys aren't making new viruses
because they don't pay. They get no monetary money out of it. Whereas if they were stealing emails and your address books, they can resell those and make money on it.
Again, you still have a reason to run an antivirus program.
Yeah,
because there are millions of viruses still running around the internet. But all the new stuff is mostly scams of some sort, right? So you have to use your brain for most of them because they'll come in your email, right? So you'll get an email that says, we're going to see, and I think I have a thing about this later on. This is the season, 'tis the season for the package delivery scams.
Yep.
You start getting I've got a notice coming. I bought a thing. Can I say? Yeah, she doesn't listen. I bought a thing for my daughter, and it's coming tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But I got a legitimate notice from the company I bought it from. I went to USPS itself with the tracking number.
Yeah, don't click on the link in the
I did not
supposed
click on
email.
The link. Right. I did not click on the link. I copied the number and went to the USPS site, and it said, yes, this package exists. And now I'm getting updates from them sent to my phone.
Okay.
I know they will be legit, and all they're going to do is tell me packages on its way, packages delivered. There's nothing
if
to
it's
click on.
cleared this city or that city and
Right. So,
expected date of delivery.
right. So there's nothing to click on. But we see all the time, and in particular, they're mostly ads that we see because they slip them into the ad network, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to a website and you get a dozen ads. Half of them are pop-ups. You're annoyed as all heck.
And the irony is that they're fake virus warnings. You have a virus. You have a virus.
Well, but that's the point.
I had a guy
Yeah.
come in this week. Well, I've got Norton. Why didn't it stop it? Because it wasn't a virus. It was a fake message.
Right, and that's the point. The point is that half of, you'll get ads for shoes and you'll get ads for whatever they are, but you'll also get a lot of them, they slip them in, and they are fake virus warnings. They are fake problem warnings, right? They get taken down pretty quickly, but pretty quickly means only 100 million people saw it instead of 700 million.
Until the next one, because like
And then
we've
the
said
next
for
one comes
decades, it's a game of leapfrog.
Exactly right.
There's a new.
So, but the point is, you've got to be wary. And when these things pop up and say, you've got a virus, we're locking your machine, we're doing all this stuff to you.
The more
Reboot.
dire the message,
Right.
the faker it is.
The faker it is.
Yeah.
Just reboot your machine. I guarantee you it will just simply reboot and that message will be gone. This is particularly true of your phone and Chromebooks. Chromebooks don't get viruses.
One thing,
There was a time when browsers, for your convenience, would reopen every window that was was last time.
well, that's
Right.
the key,
Including the
and
bad
some of
one.
them will do that. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're
may take
rebooting
an
your
hour or two for
computer,
that.
it says, you go to open up your browser, it'll say, do you want to restore all your previous tabs? Say no.
Right. And there's on most browsers, there's a checkbox. Reopen last tabs. Turn that off.
I closed that tab on purpose.
Right.
Yeah. Just so
other-
it doesn't open that bad site again.
Right. So the other thing is, I know we all love Safari and we all love Chrome, but when you use a browser like Brave or Vivaldi or DuckDuckGo, you don't get as many ads, if any.
DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
DuckDuckGo has been great in avoiding. Well, everybody knows when you go to search for something, say you're just searching for car insurance or, a particular product in Chrome and all that other, even after you buy the product, you're now inundated for the next 6 months with that same product or equivalent haunting you, showing you ads for, there's this ad and there's this one and this one. I already bought it. I don't want it anymore. DuckDuckGo eliminates that.
DuckDuckGo does, Vivaldi does, Brave does. I have to tell you, often when my wife, particularly when she's at market, she will call me up and say, "Can you search this? Can you look for that?" Or my daughter, when she's at work, "I can't do this. Can you look this up?"
Yep.
So somewhere on the internet, my profile is an old computer guy, an old woman, and a young woman, all mixed together into one thing.
Yeah, it really messes up your profile.
Yesterday, a couple days ago, I got an email that said one of those, we curated all these items for you, and it was a laptop, nail polish, a dress, and then at the bottom, special thing that I could buy this beautiful slinky black dress, which I suspect I would be stunning in.
Whoa, wait a minute. We got to back up here for a second. Those items are relevant to you.
Yeah.
And I will inform folks. I have seen Nick in a dress.
This is true. This is very true. I got
Honest-
great gams,
There's
by
got
the
to be a
way.
picture of that somewhere.
Yes. Without the beard, and he was in a play. So,
See, that's-
so this might, they might be digging into his past
That's
that
even
he's
weirder.
trying to hide.
Nick without a beard. That's hard to imagine.
Yeah. Well, I remember you did a golf one too, didn't you?
I did several, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw you without the beards and that is weird.
I did a couple of shows without the beard. The last time I shaved my beard, my daughter was 2, maybe. And I brought her in and I made her watch me shave it. Mm-hmm. And she still wouldn't talk to me for like a week.
Yeah.
But that's maybe relevant, though, to why they're sending you that, because they're confused.
It's possible.
Is he this or is he that? Because, we got pictures of him. Somebody might have caught you on stage in that dress.
It's true.
To tell a story that my wife was into romance novels for a while. So Christmas time, I bought her 2 or 3. And for 6 months, I'd be getting ads for the new romance novels. Thank goodness she's done with that phase. Now it's Harry Potter Lego.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing of it is, though, is you do a search on Google, and you'll be inundated for the next 6 months with ads to romance novels.
Well, and Google is doing a big thing there.
Unless you can run uBlock Origin.
Well,
That
and
can
right.
block a lot of that.
The problem is Manifest V3
Yep.
for Chrome, the next version of Chrome, will kill things like uBlock Origin. So if you use Vivaldi or Brave, which, by the way, are based on the same Chromium base that Chrome is, they just remove the blockage. They unblock things like uBlock Origin. Mm-hmm. Also, they have their own built-in ad things. When you open Brave, the home page, if you set it to that, it says, blocked 74,000 viruses and 82,000 ads and whatever it is. It's very cool. It's very cool.
The latest Security Now broadcast has an open letter from Gorhill, who wrote uBlock Origin, and his fights with Firefox and with Google over Manifest V3. So he came out with the uBlock Origin Lite that is V3 compatible by removing a lot of the extra stuff. And people who don't want to have to deal with figuring out all the extra stuff, it's a good alternative. But there's a Windows registry hack that you can load to get 6 more months of V2 support, because enterprise customers requested that from Microsoft. So somebody said to Steve, why don't you just run Windows Server? And because he's the certified developer, so he has access to everything. Windows Server has none of that crap in it. It just keeps running. And every time you hear about them taking something out, it's still in Server, because enterprise needs that. It's still in Server.
Right. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about, quite a while ago, and I'm embarrassed to say this, quite a while ago, we got a bunch of tapes from Don Nichols' widow, whose name I don't know. I don't know her first name. I'm so embarrassed. I'm sorry. But she donated a bunch of tapes. Don, superfan, absolute superfan, recorded a bunch of shows. So I've been putting them up. I finally got, Steve recommended a little gizmo in the last...
USB tape recorder.
In the last lounge. Yeah, it's basically a USB tape recorder. So I've been moving the tapes. I've done, I think, 14 so far, and I've got about another 14 to go. They're not all complete. For example, he got the first show ever.
Oh, wow.
September 3rd, 1989. But he didn't...
That's just
You only got the first half hour. Right, you only got the first half hour. And so there are a couple like that. And the quality varies. I'll just say varies.
Well, the tapes are old.
The tapes are old. We got different tape recorders. One of them I'm just having so much trouble fixing because apparently the battery was running down. So he recorded it slower. When I play it back, we sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I always listen at double speed anyway.
Yeah, well,
which is tough. You're tough at double speed.
I don't doubt that. So, but there, yeah. So basically, I try to listen to a lot of things at double speed too, and I don't know that my voice would. I don't know that I would be good at that. But yeah, so if you take a look at the archives, you'll see a bunch of the older shows. Anything before 2001 is Don's tapes. Anything after that is Steve. Steve does an amazing job every week.
Mm-hmm.
He records the show. He broadcasts it through OBS to, I don't know, every platform on the planet, I believe.
So folks can see us on YouTube and everything else,
YouTube
which
and
is
Facebook and Twitch.
the biggies.
There is another service that will let you stream to 15 different platforms, but it's $20 a month.
Yeah, we don't need that. We can't afford that.
It's not enough.
We're still in the middle of a fund drive.
Yeah.
Right. Then he also takes the audio of the show, cleans it up, and puts it up on the archive page. So, he does an amazing amount of work on this every week.
And we have a podcast feed for the audio.
We have a podcast
and
feed for the
YouTube
audio.
makes a podcast feed for video, so
Right.
we don't recommend watching while you're driving.
We do not. We do not recommend that.
You can be the passenger.
Right.
And
But so I've added the Don stuff, but it's not of the same quality. I'll just say that. I did my best.
hey, it
But it's
is
not
what
of
it
the same
is. I mean,
quality.
you can't.
Some of them I think he recorded with a microphone off the radio.
Thing of it is, though, you can't make silk
that's
out
all
of
you
a
could do
sow's
back
ear,
then.
as my grandfather used to always say. And going back to that is before we take a break here, because we've got about a few minutes. Just to remind folks, you're hearing us talk about the different stuff that we do, and what do we do it for? You folks. So that you can on your off hours or downtime or whatever, quick go to our website and listen to previous shows. Or if you've had a particular question, excuse me, that you can go back and look through our history and get that question answered. And we only come to you twice a year to ask you to help us stay on the air. Because, we've been on this station for 15 years. This station alone, and that's just a record in itself. If you think about it, a lot of, shows don't last that long in radio. It's just the way that things go. But Rob took a gamble on us. We're still here, and we're still here because of you folks. You've taken, the chance on us and bellied up and helped support the station to keep us going. And we have a lot of fun every Saturday in the middle of the day, right at the middle of the day, folks, from 12 to 2, while you're out doing your shopping and everything else, coming to you to answer your computer questions and, let's face it, entertain you. We have a lot of fun doing this. Otherwise, we wouldn't last the 34 years that we've been together. Well, we're working on 35.
No, we're at 35 years, 1 month, 23 days.
Oh,
I
all right.
pulled this
I
t-shirt.
stand corrected. It's,
Yeah, I pulled this T-shirt out of the closet this morning. Oh, 30 years. That was 5 years ago.
Exactly.
but we've been doing it, every Saturday, coming to you like clockwork. The only times that we ever take off, a Saturday is either on, if New Year's or Christmas fall on that Saturday. Sorry, we'd rather be with our families. We love you guys, but, hey, we got to come to you folks. All the other weeks, offering you our advice, our opinions. Come Christmas time, we're always trying to get you up to date on stuff and the technology that's constantly changing. Think about it. 35 years ago, when the computers were starting to come out, we started with the technology, trying to keep you up to date and how to use the different stuff, tape drives and SCSI and the various different drives, to now it's mainly laptops, tablets, and your phone. The dynamic has changed that much that, hey, we need you folks to pick up the phones and give us a call. Right now, we're coming up on a break, so, help us out and give Cheryl a call and let us know.
All right. That music says that we are indeed going into a break. Give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. You'll talk to the lovely and talented Cheryl, who will be happy to take your pledge and or pass you on to us. But we're going to take a quick break. You can also donate online at jazz901.org. Hit that big red Donate Now button. See you in a couple minutes.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. Iran is condemning Israel's retaliatory airstrikes overnight. Iran's foreign minister called the strikes a blatant violation of international law and the UN Charter. Israel reportedly took steps to warn Iran ahead of time it would launch precision attacks early Saturday and cautioned Tehran not to respond. The Pentagon says the U.S. was aware of the strikes ahead of time but was not involved in the action. Both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris will be campaigning in the battleground state of Michigan today. Michelle Obama will be joining Harris for a rally in Kalamazoo, where they're expected to talk about abortion rights, taxes, unions, and tariffs. Trump will be at 2 rallies today, the first one near Detroit and the second one in Pennsylvania. The CDC says the number of E. coli cases linked to McDonald's is now up to 75, including 1 death and 22 hospitalizations. Lisa Carton, NBC News Radio.
Get my medicine from the printer. This is Sandra Tsinglow with the Lowdown on Science. Liver cancer is increasingly treatable, especially with surgery, but cancer cells can remain, growing new tumors. Soha H. Youssef and team at University of South Australia said, not so fast. They 3D printed a biodegradable film and loaded on 2 liver cancer medications. One drug was released over 1 day, the other over 2 to 3 weeks for continuous treatment. These biofilms were then applied to liver cancer cells. And within 24 hours, over 80% of cancer cells were dead. The process continued over 23 days. These films can be stuck onto the surgery site to knock out any remaining cancer cells. It's not just a Band-Aid solution. Well, it kind of is.
The Lowdown on Science is a production of LAist 89.3.
Jazz 90.1 is supported by our members and by Lifespan. Scams that target older adults are on the rise, and the consequences can be devastating. Lifespan helps older adults take on scams, fraud, and identity protection. If you've been the victim of a scam, or to schedule a presentation to your organization or group, you may call 585-244-8400 or look online at lifespanrochester.org.
The Jazz 90.1 Daily Club Calendar is brought to you in part by our members and by jazzrochester.com.
With love I will build a wonderful thing that makes this life better for you and for me.
Shriners Hospitals for Children has been creating wonderful opportunities for children in need. This life-changing medical care helps them do the things they've always dreamed of. To find out more, go to loveshriners.org.
Calling all veterans. Veterans Outreach Center wants you. We provide essential services for veterans in the greater Rochester area. Get employment assistance, health and wellness support, residential services, food, clothing, and so much more. VOC, serving those who serve us for over 50 years. Visit vocroc.org or call 585-546-1081 today to learn more.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Rather breezy and rather cool across Rochester, Western New York, and the Finger Lakes here for your Saturday, with changeable amounts of clouds and sun and a passing shower. The high temperature in the mid-50s. We'll find a spotty shower around into the first part of your Saturday night. Otherwise, we'll see patchy clouds and starlight and a gusty northwesterly breeze. Overnight low temperatures Saturday night into the upper 30s. And we'll see an ample amount of sunshine for the day on Sunday. Sunday's highs in the mid-50s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now, we've got a few clouds out there, 53 degrees out at the airport and 57 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 34 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bytes. And before we get to the phones, I'm just reminding you, we are in the middle of a pledge drive. We are halfway to our goal. We need you. Please, you can pledge securely online. It only takes a couple of minutes at jazz901.org. You can donate through the app, or you can give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415, where you'll talk to the lovely and talented Cheryl, who will be happy to take your information. In the meantime, while you do that, we'll talk to Dennis from Rochester, New York. Hi there, Dennis. What's up?
Well, I am a Jazzmatic member. Just wanted to let you know that. So, I got myself into a little bit of a pickle. I have a Windows 10 desktop, and I was having trouble. I have a SATA SSD on it, and I was having troubles with Windows. So I decided to get an M.2 stick and insert that and and install a new copy of Windows on the stick. After I got everything taken care of, tweaked the new Windows 10, hopefully faster because it's plugged into that M.2 slot. I found out that the UEFI boot partition got put on the second drive. So I have to keep that SATA drive plugged in order to boot to Windows 10 on the new 500 gigabyte stick. So how do I get a UEFI partition on to the same drive that my Windows is on right now?
Well, I'm pretty sure you have to start over.
Yeah.
So you have to download the Windows installer and put it onto a USB stick, and then remove that original drive so that the only drive in the computer is the new drive. And then the installer will do everything it needs to on that one new drive.
Including the UEFI.
It probably saw that on the other drive and didn't bother making a new one.
Right, because once you get that all installed and then hook up the other drive, it'll just show up as an additional drive.
Right.
Is there any software or anything where I could any tools?
Nope, because Windows has to register everything in the registry as far as information about the motherboard, the video card, everything.
There are some commercial programs that claim to be able to do it, but I don't know how much I trust them.
Yeah, I have not heard good luck about those.
Okay. So looks like I'm going to have to do it all over again, but make sure that second drive is not
not plugged in.
Right. You may not have to erase your current the new M.2 drive. Just make sure you have a USB installer, then take the original drive out and reinstall.
Yep.
It shouldn't erase anything on the existing drive, but it should.
But I don't know that it'll add UEFI.
Yeah.
If it doesn't see one, it shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should.
It should, but it's Windows.
I did read somewhere on the internet that if you're saving your settings and whatever, if you're not doing a totally clean install, it's not gonna add a missing UEF, whatever you call it, partition. So, all right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time, and I'll do what I got to do.
Yeah,
there you go. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And we'd like to thank Fred for his additional gift. It was wonderful. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We are in the middle of a pledge drive. Every penny helps. We'd really, really, really like this to be the last Saturday that we do this.
Be nice.
For now. The pledge drive theoretically ends this coming Friday. If we don't hit our goal, we will extend the pledge drive. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want to hear us begging for pledges on next Saturday, now is the time to pledge.
Yeah.
It really comes down to that.
Help us. Folks got to understand. We understand, coming to you, oh, geez, these guys are doing another pledge drive. Yeah, we don't like doing that either. But you know what? It's part of the job to keep us on the air. It doesn't come up for free.
There ain't no magic here. We either pay to be on the air or we're not on the air.
And it was 6 months ago. So it was quite a while, even though it seems like it was yesterday.
Yeah,
we only come to you twice a year.
Yeah.
To ask, and this is the time. So please, make that call, make that pledge. You can pledge online at jazz901.org. You can talk to Cheryl at 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. You can also pledge on the Jazz 901 app, which you should have on your phone so that you can listen to us everywhere all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we make it so easy for you to do this. I mean, there's no excuse. You go, oh, it takes so long and that. No, it doesn't. You can go, let's keep listening to the show and still sign up on your laptop or your desktop, whatever you're doing.
And I understand that people, look at, say, the $120 level and say that's a lot of money. Well, like Dennis did, you could become a Jazz-O-Matic member. At the lowest level, $10 a month is the minimum. You pay $10 a month for a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's $120. You're a $120 member.
And you get a lot of good
it's pretty
gifts,
simple
too.
math.
Yeah, you get a lot of good gifts, too. The diner card and other items that you can select from.
I'm telling you, that member card that Dave just mentioned is absolutely the number one thing you should be going for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's available at the $90.10 level and above. And what that is many discounts, many BOGOs, buy one, get one, at all kinds of places, restaurants and theaters and art galleries and wineries. And, this is the time of year you're going to be doing those winery tours.
Those are so much fun.
Essentially, you do it this way. You've paid for the member card.
Yeah.
You paid for that member card. So you can get, depending on the level you're at, you can get the coffee mug or the USB charger, the baseball cap, the short sleeve shirt, the full fleece, which I love my fleece.
Same here. I was wearing it just yesterday.
The wireless phone charger, the portable USB charger. There's just an amazing amount of stuff you can get, and it's at the various levels. So make that call and make that pledge. 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. Pledge online securely at jazz901.org or through the Jazz 90.1 app. See all the ways that you can do that? You have no excuse now. None. You have none.
Mm-mm.
And Member Card has its own app. So while you're out and about, you stop.
Yeah, you got a place that you want to check out. You can see if it's on there.
And it's not just local. My daughter recently took a trip to Disney World. You go on the website and you say, this is my member number, and because it's on the card, and I'm going to Florida for 2 weeks. Okay, they say, you're good. Go. Have fun. And she could use the card there.
You can look up the list of the places down there that she might want to visit or do.
Universal, and it was great.
Yep.
It was great.
Yep.
All right, here's a new news item. The latest round of new features for Google Messages is focused mostly on safety, including sensitive content warnings for images that contain nudity. Sadly, I've never seen that warning. This is on top of the existing measures that already protect Android users from 2 billion, with a B, suspicious messages per month. Google Messages is adding enhanced scam detection that protects against scam text that may seem harmless at first, but can eventually lead to fraud. This improved analysis uses an on-device machine learning model to automatically move the message into your spam folder or warn you. This is particularly timely since we're heading into the season where scam package delivery texts really ramp up. Google is also working on building a unified system for public key encryption, public key verification across different messaging platforms. Finally, public key encryption and public key verification have been available and a proven technology for decades, but very few companies have implemented it. Android's default messaging client will warn users when they get a link from an unknown sender and block messages with links from suspicious senders. This is rolling out globally later this year, so don't get excited. Don't start looking on your phone today. But it's rolling out later this year, and about time, too. Google will automatically hide messages from international senders in the spam and block folder who are not existing contacts. Interestingly, this is an opt-in feature for adults and an opt-out features for users under 18, which is great. We should see it rolling out in the next few months. So please don't spam us, but give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. I've been an advocate of public key encryption and public key verification for decades. Basically what happens is this. I create a private public key pair. Steve creates a public-private key pair. We share our public keys.
Because they're public and they can be shared.
Because they're public and they can be shared. I get Steve's public key. Steve gets my public key. Now, the way this works is that the only, let's say I'm doing encryption, but it works exactly the same way for simple verification. I get an encrypted message from Steve. The only way I can encrypt it is if I have his public key. And that public key guarantees that the only way it could have been encrypted is with Steve's private key. So, assuming Steve doesn't publicize or publish his key on the internet somewhere, I can be very certain that that message came from Steve. The same way with public verification. It's not decrypting anything, but what it says is, yeah, I checked this message against Steve's public key. It definitely came from him.
The problem has become, where do you get those private keys? And so in earlier days, there were public key servers where you could post your public key, or you'd have a cryptography party and everyone would share their public keys among each other. So that was one of the big downsides, especially trying to encrypt your mail.
Right.
That the other end has to get your public key to know if the private key is correct.
Nowadays, it's much easier because I could send it to you via email, but I could also just post it on my website.
Yep.
It's a public key. The only thing it can possibly do is say, yes, this message came from Nick, or decrypt that message from Nick, so it is perfectly safe to put your public key, not your private key, your public key out on the internet. And we need to see more. And what we're hoping is that Google makes that publishing part easier. Creating one, it's easy to create one on a Linux machine. I'm assuming it's just as easy to do it on a Mac, but it's not quite as easy on a Windows machine. But it is doable, and it's gotten better. And most people don't know how to do it because it involves that horrid command line. The horrid command line. Go ahead.
And that's sort of the danger that everyone says. If we ever get quantum computing, public encryption is broken, because the way public and private key pairs work is you take two giant prime numbers and multiply them together, and factoring mega giant prime numbers is virtually impossible until maybe we get quantum computers. We don't even know then. So, typically now, what is our key length now? 4096 bits?
Yep.
And so it's very easy to take two numbers and multiply them together, but creating a factor of those two prime numbers is very difficult when they get large. And so that's what's protecting all of our encryption now, is the difficulty in factoring prime numbers. If you remember from algebra class, and
right.
In fact, how many factors are there of 11?
Right. So yeah, there's a whole science behind it, but the reality is that public-private keys, you keep your private key, anybody can have your public key. There's nothing they can do with it except decode messages from you. All right, to the phones. Our next caller is Don from Pittsford, New York. Hi, Don. What's up?
Hello. A question about antivirus, anti-malware programs. If I'm correct, I believe you spoke some weeks ago that you felt that Defender, which comes with Microsoft, and I'm using Microsoft 10, was a better program than AVG or Total AV, the free versions of those.
We're of divided opinions on that.
Yeah. I didn't say it was better than those. I said it was better than it used to be.
Yeah. And it's better than nothing.
Well, it's
All right.
actually gotten, and I'm shocked I'm about to say this. It's actually gotten very good. the last round of tests that were done by 3 or 4 national groups all ranked Microsoft Defender right at the top, along with several others like AVG. But that assumes 2 things. Well, they were all run on Windows 11, not 10, and they all were completely up to date.
And that's
lies the
that's
challenge.
The downside of
updating
Microsoft
that list. Microsoft, I'm sorry, that's why I'm very leery about using them over AVG. Defender is not Microsoft's main product. To constantly update and keep it up to doing its job, just like they don't do patches in a timely manner.
Yeah.
So I would rather be with a company that their sole purpose is keeping you safe from viruses, spyware, and malware.
Which do you prefer, AVG or Total AV?
Either or.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be a little careful because there's a fake one called Total AV too.
Yeah, I use AVG.
Yeah, I use AVG. I used to use AVG as well when I had a Windows machine. Defender only updates once a month, and that is my our prime thing against
concern. Yep,
it is excellent.
Yep,
it is excellent, but it doesn't update as timely as the others do.
Which could be a couple times a day.
Okay, I have AVG
You're good.
version on the computer. Does that automatically defeat Defender, or do you still have both programs?
No, I turn Defender off. I deactivate Defender and install AVG. It's just like you could have too many things, like too many spyware programs or too many. You could be. I've heard folks running double antivirus programs. No, you only need one.
And most of the programs will automatically disable Windows Defender, and it will see you have another antivirus program running and disable itself.
That's what I wondered, whether it was automatic or not.
Yeah, it's likely not running anyway.
If I choose to remove AVG and go to Defender, how do I find it and activate it?
It's a regular program in your system.
It's in the security.
Yeah, it's just a button you got to toggle back on.
Right, so you can just turn it on in if you go into your
control
panel and under security.
Well,
the easiest way is to just search for Defender.
Yeah.
Right, go into the control panel and search for Defender. We don't search enough. I
even
think
at the start menu. Don't even bother going into control panel.
Yeah, right.
first.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right from the start menu, just type Defender and hit enter. It'll come up.
Okay, I'm sounding like I'm on the fence, and indeed I am. With AVG, one of the things that it keeps coming in with is warning, this site is suspect, or we advise you not to open it. Does Defender do the same thing?
That's not an antivirus check. That's a website check.
It's a different AVG does that. Defender does not.
Defender is just an antivirus program.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But
all right,
your browser itself, most of the browsers use those same suspicious lists to block you from going to a known suspicious website.
Yeah, they'll bring
to
up
begin
a web
with.
page that says you shouldn't go here, basically. And then you have a choice of take me away or
proceed.
I
understand the risk. Proceed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I often get a message, can't find this.
Well, you've got a bad link. That comes from 2 places. Well, it's called link rot, which is just stuff gets old, doesn't get updated. Somebody took down a site and the other end didn't change their link. And sometimes it's a malicious link that got taken down. So congratulations, you didn't get sent to a bad place.
Okay. All right. I think you've answered all my questions. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Don. Have fun.
Okay.
So I got to say, talking about the early shows, the first show I was on, we were talking about OS 2.
And how cool it was going to be.
Well, and how great it was because you could multitask.
Yep.
You could run 2 programs at the same time. Holy moly, that was different.
That was golden.
That was gold. And I remember doing that for the Frog Pond BBS. I had 2 sessions running. One was for users to grab and answer email, and the other one was for me to grab and answer email from up the line, from Mother, who was the mail server that Phil and Jerry ran. It was when I started talking, I was talking about, and about Fourth, OS 2 and Fourth were the 2 things I talked about. Like I said, that first show that I was on, they only got the first half hour of it. I think Don did. But, you know, those archives are gold. They are wonderful, and we want to thank Don and Mrs. Nichols for giving us those and sharing their passion with us.
I didn't put it up here.
And, you know, we do this out of passion. We're clearly not getting paid, so it's either passion or stupidity. I'm going to call it passion. But we need your help to stay on the air. Our passion doesn't do it all. We need you to become a member of this station. We'd love to do it today. We'd love to not have to do a pledge drive next week, but we will if we have to. So I'm threatening you right now to make that call and make that pledge. 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. 79. I don't know. 79004. I was trying to do 2 things at once. Let's talk to Jim from Brighton instead. Hi, Jim. What's up?
Hi. I've been captured by Microsoft. They snuck very surreptitiously Windows 11 on my laptop. And I guess I'm going to have to live with it, instead of trying to revert back to Windows 10. But one of the things that really bugs me is the text that they use under the icons that I have on my computer screen. And I'm wondering if there's a setting I can get to so that I can control the text.
Yes, there is in the control panel, again, just search for appearance, I believe it's called. You search for appearance and you can change all kinds of things, including the text under icons.
Mouse size and everything.
Everything. So you do have a lot of control, and most people don't like the defaults. So luckily there's a lot of control. So what you want to do is head on, again, hit that start menu and do a search for appearance.
Just like a lot of folks don't like the menu now in the middle. They're so used to having it on the left. If you right-click on the menu bar, there's a setting there that you can say center or left, and just click it, and boom, all of a sudden the menu, the start button shifts over back to the left where it has always been.
Where God meant it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, thanks very much for your help, fellas. I think I'll give that a shot.
All right, thank you. Yeah, there is. Yeah, Microsoft is force upgrading a number of people for a lot of reasons. Some of them good, some of them bad. But the point is, you can make certain changes, certainly to the look of the system, which is what most people seem to be upset about.
Yeah, it looks different, so you can make it look the way Windows 10 did.
Right, and you just go into appearance and you can make all kinds. You can change colors and fonts and sizes of
Apple
fonts.
cut down on a lot of that because they don't want anyone else messing with their interface.
Yeah, right. But yeah. All right, that music tells us the first hour of this show is in the history books, in the archive soon, but not just yet. But we will be back with a whole nother hour of the longest running computer show in the known universe. Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco. But the most important thing this week is to make a call and make the pledge during this break so you don't miss a moment of our golden knowledge. 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. You talk to Cheryl. We'll take a break, and we'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbytes.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
WGMC Greece Rochester. A public service of the Greece Central School District. Jazz 90.1.
Celebrating 50 years on the air in Rochester.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. Iran is condemning Israel's retaliatory airstrikes overnight. Iran's foreign minister called the strikes a blatant violation of international law and the UN Charter. Israel reportedly took steps to warn Iran ahead of time it would launch precision attacks early Saturday and cautioned Tehran not to respond. The Pentagon says the U.S. was aware of the strikes ahead of time but was not involved in the action. Both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris will be campaigning in the battleground state of Michigan today. Michelle Obama will be joining Harris for a rally in Kalamazoo, where they're expected to talk about abortion rights, taxes, unions, and tariffs. Trump will be at 2 rallies today, the first one near Detroit and the second one in Pennsylvania. The CDC says the number of E. coli cases linked to McDonald's is now up to 75, including 1 death and 22 hospitalizations. Lisa Carton, NBC News Radio.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by MelindaMyers.com, dedicated to helping people have fun and be successful in their gardens. Information and videos on landscape design, vegetable gardening, attracting birds and butterflies, planting guides, plant profiles, and eco-friendly gardening techniques are at MelindaMyers.com.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by the great courses How to Grow Anything DVD series hosted by Melinda Myers. The Great Courses How to Grow Anything series consists of 4 DVD courses that provide gardening tips and information on food gardening, landscape design and care, container gardening, flower, tree, and shrub care, and more. More information is available at MelindaMyers.com. That's MelindaMyers.com.
Here's another I Love New York travel tip.
In just a few weeks, New York State's fall foliage season will be drawing to a close, with peak leaves reaching their final destination, New York City, in early to mid-November. Don't despair, you'll find plenty of places throughout the 5 boroughs to enjoy the spectacular colors. With more than 20,000 trees and 840 acres, Central Park is a great place to see the foliage by walking, biking, or hiking. Beyond Central Park, check out the 67-acre Fort Tryon Park that offers great views of the Hudson River Palisades, featuring 20 miles of cliffs that will be covered in vivid foliage. Other parks in the city perfect for leaf peeping include Prospect Park in Brooklyn, Alley Pond Park in Queens, Greenbelt Nature Center in Staten Island, and Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx. For more information on fall foliage in New York City, visit the I Love New York website at iloveny.com or dial 1-800-CALLNYS. It's easy to love New York.
Being isolated and lonely can be harmful to your health, resulting in high blood pressure, a greater risk of heart disease, and early onset dementia. So it's important to build and maintain social connections. Try a new hobby, volunteer, exercise, or use your phone or other device to stay in touch. Visit connecttoeffect.org to find resources and ways to stay connected. Presented by AARP Foundation with support from UnitedHealthcare.
If you're 19 or older with certain underlying medical conditions such as asthma or diabetes, you can get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're 65 or older, it is also recommended you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, no matter the season. Talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protect yourself. A message from the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
If you're a woman, talk to your doctor by age 25 about your risk of getting breast cancer. More women under 40 are getting breast cancer, and these cancers are often more deadly. The American College of Radiology recommends you ask your doctor if you should get a mammogram before age 40, need other tests like an MRI with your yearly mammogram, or if at high risk should be checked more than once a year. For more information, visit mammographysaveslives.org.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Soundbites, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at soundbites.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
And welcome back as we all slowly get into position here and get set up for the second hour of Soundbites. You're listening to the longest running computer show in the nation. I'm Dave Enright.
I'm Steve Ray.
And I'm Nick Francesco.
Once we get him settled into
5 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites. I'll tell you what.
You just said that an hour ago.
That bathroom and that water fountain
keep getting farther away
every week.
Yeah, I know. We got to, say something to management.
Yep.
Well, that's when he put that 7 to 10 minute break in.
Yeah, right.
That's too long. That's too long.
Right. This one was about 1 minute too short. All right. Before we go anywhere else, I want to thank our friend Scott, friend of the show, loyal listener,
longtime supporter
for his generous donation. Thank you very much, Scott. You can join Scott and Fred and the many others who've joined by simply heading online at jazz901.org, hitting that Donate Now button, or if you absolutely need to, you can talk to the lovely and talented Cheryl by calling 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. Or you can pledge securely online, like I said, at jazz901.org, or through the Jazz 90.1 app, which so many of you have on your phones these days.
Make it easy all the way around, painless. I mean, you don't even have to skip a beat as far as listening to us, too. That you continue on and, not miss a moment of it.
Now, two important notifications we have to talk about today. Today is the anniversary of the gunfight at the OK Corral. So at 2:45 this afternoon, spend a minute thinking about Wyatt Earp and the Clanton brothers. So that's you're not on. You're still not on. There you go.
Well, the Star Trek version where you convince yourself the bullets are not real.
Right, and they just go through you.
One thing I want to mention, I've seen a few folks, and I know there's a number of our listeners that have, called in about it, and what I'm talking about is Money Dance. Money Dance for the Windows version, they've put out a couple other versions, and I've seen people on the board and all that other stuff, are skeptical. Well, should I do it? Yes, please, do the other. There are, it's 24.02 now for the current version, but for a product, if you don't want to pay like I was doing in the past, Quicken, it was a yearly service of $97, and once you let your subscription run out, they turn it off. You can look at previous stuff, but you just can't post any more. And it's only $65. A one-time fee.
You do the one-time,
yeah, and that's good for the whole version. And so like right now they're on 24, like I said, 24.02. So if they happen to go up to 25, they might charge you another. Sit down. $15 to go up to the next major version.
If you want those new features.
Yes, and if not, you're fine. If you want to stay with 24 and it's doing everything you want, simple needs and all that, hey, stay with it. But
I have to correct you. It's $65, a one-time purchase.
Right.
But that also includes a free upgrade to the next version.
Yep. Oh, I didn't know they added. That's
the next
something new.
Major version.
That's new.
It says so on their website. So if you've got 64, when 65 comes out, they give it to you. For $65 on a one-time charge, ridiculously cheap.
And what's nice about it too, folks, is if you're multi-platforms. By that I mean if you're into Windows, Linux, Android, or whatever, they support it. so you can have it on your phone or on your tablet or on your, Mac or PC. It's all there. So, it's a great product for keeping track of your financial stuff that, you don't have to get locked into a yearly fee. I almost think of them like Windows. They brought out stuff and then all of a sudden, lost interest and then drop it. That's the way I feel Quicken is. All of a sudden, well, this version, I don't need any other features. Let me continue using it. They go, nope, you're locked out. Boom. Too bad.
And,
so sad.
And I have to also point out that one-time purchase, if you are a personal user, not a business, that one license covers your entire household.
Yep.
No matter how many people, no matter how many machines,
yep.
No matter how many operating systems.
Yep.
And they all get an upgrade to the next major version.
I got it both on my machine and my wife's got it on hers.
Yep.
And they're two different accounts and set up. And we back it up to the cloud. So if anything ever happened, I have it going up to my Google Drive. So, and it doesn't take up much space. And it's protected.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's
all
a good
automatic. Matter of fact, you can even have it check if you wanted to log into your online banking and download the balances and all that. It does a lot of great features. You might want to check it out.
Yep. Today, also, we should mention the archives. As you know, for those of you just tuning in, we've been doing the archives for a long time now. Steve records every show and cleans it up and uploads it to the archives. He's been doing that since 2001. So, when he was young, when I had hair. I think I had some hair back then. And that's great. But we're missing everything before 2001. Well, Don Nichols, super fan, recorded a lot of early shows. In fact, he recorded our very first show, the first show of Soundbites, the first show I was on. And I haven't gotten much farther yet, so it may be a whole bunch of others.
Mm-hmm.
Your first show. But the point here is, when he passed, his widow was kind enough to give us those tapes, and I have begun putting them online. They are not all complete shows. They are, to be polite, of varying quality. I've done what I can to fix them. But some of them clearly he recorded by just putting a microphone up to the radio.
Which is almost all you could do back then.
Which is exactly right. But which is fine. God bless him that he did that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be aware that they're not the near professional quality that Steve's been putting up for all these
Umpteen years, yeah.
But they are up there, and
he captured the moments. That's the
cool.
Key thing.
Like I was saying, the first show I was on, we talked about OS2. OS2!
Mm-hmm.
And how you could use it to actually do two things at once. Revolutionary in its day. There's actually an OS2 clone still around.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Arcos... starts with an A. I can't remember. Steve's going to look it up. Yeah.
I remember the most stable version of DOS was 7.0.
Yep.
They did not have to come out with 02 or anything else. It was just a very stable version. It was rock solid, and not all the bugs like 8 and some of these.
But the problem is Microsoft is a shark. It has to keep swimming to live. If it stops, it dies. So just because 7 was perfect, oh well. Just because Windows 10 was perfect, or Windows 7, or whichever version you think was perfect, oh well. If they don't put out a new version, they don't get new money. If they don't get new money, they die. So they're going to keep updating their operating system. Apple is the same way.
Yep.
If they don't get new money, they die. Linux is different. Linux doesn't get money. So and it's so distributed that it may never die.
Well, the other thing that draws me back to that, thinking about the old shows, I can remember the one evening the three of us were over there in Henrietta at the computer store there because they were announced, and Paula Chapman was with us.
Yep.
Because they were introducing Windows 3.1.
Remember all those Midnight Madness sales with the Next OS?
And people were there to
Thank
buy the Windows 3.1 and take it home and install it.
And
Because
was it the place in Pittsford that we cooked breakfast for people who were in line?
Newegg, wasn't it?
Newegg.
Didn't they used to have retail stores?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Newegg.
they made
Yeah.
eggs.
Newegg in the one across from Pittsford Plaza.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And we made eggs. We made breakfast, eggs and
Yeah.
sausage.
Yeah.
Or eggs and bacon, one of the two for those people. And I remember all these people in line at midnight to get Windows 90. It was Windows 95. I remember them all getting it. I remember asking each and every one of them who had stood in line for hours at midnight to get it, when are you going to install it? Oh, probably not before the weekend. Okay.
They just wanted to have it so they could say that they had it.
Yep.
That was part of the fun with the iPhone lineup. That you could order the iPhone online and get it the same day that everyone who waited in line to get it. But it's just people liked being in line, and you met your old friends.
The experience, yeah, hanging out with folks.
You only
and
see once a year.
Right.
And it was funny that it was Angela Ahrens who came from Burberry, and they brought her in to oversee the retail stores. That's the first thing she killed. No more lines. People can just come in and buy it, and you can buy it online. And a lot of people were upset because they wanted to go wait in line.
Yeah.
We had
The campouts.
We had what we called Harry Potter friends. My daughter was of the age that as each book came out, we went to the bookstore, stood in line to get it at midnight so she could start reading it. She was of an age. We met people in line that we met every time a book came out. So 8 books altogether. So we had our Harry Potter friends. Yeah. And Amelia would say, oh, we're going to see Mary and Jane and whatever all their names were. And they'd get together and we'd be in line for like 2 hours. They'd be chit-chatting away. They never, it wasn't like they exchanged numbers or talked to each other outside that line ever. But in the line, they were friends.
I remember we used to go to a big sci-fi convention in Toronto every year until they shut down. But one year, it coincided with a Harry Potter book release. And so everywhere you looked in the hotel, there were people in every chair on every corner of the floor reading this book. And at every talk that was given and every panel that was given, they started it out by saying, other people may not be reading as fast as you. Please don't give us any spoilers.
Right.
Keep your conversations to a minimum. You don't want to spoil it for someone who's a chapter behind you.
Well, it got to the point, particularly for me, my daughter would ask me questions about it. I hadn't read it yet because we only got 1 copy. So we started getting 2 copies. So she could be reading it, I could be reading mine, and then if she asked me a question, I would have an answer for her. Cheese and crackers. All right, before we go any farther, I want to thank. Hello, hi, how are you?
Good.
I want to thank Thomas for his generous donation. Thank you, Thomas. Again, it's you people who have kept this show on the air for 35 plus years. It is you people who have kept us here answering questions, spewing nonsense, having fun, and it's all on you. You're to blame for this, and the only way we can keep doing it is if you keep shouldering the blame. And the way you do that is to make a pledge. Keep this station on the air. Keep this show on this station. And you do that real easy. You can pledge securely online at jazz901.org or through the Jazz 90.1 app. Or you can give us a call and talk to the lovely Cheryl at 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. Look, we don't want to do this next week. We don't. We have, trust me.
Really?
I'll make a pledge. We don't want to do this next week. But we will if we have to. And the way we don't is for you to make the call and make the pledge. If you do that, we don't have to do this again next week. It's on you. So if we're here begging next week, you know whose fault it is.
Yeah, it's theirs.
Don't blame us.
Yeah.
And we're only about halfway through our goal, according to the thermometer on our website.
Well, and that's just it. We're halfway through the goal.
We're
a little more than halfway through the drive. So do the math. We need you to step up to make us get to the end. We've got half of it at more than half of the drive. So please make that call, make that pledge. 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. Pledge securely online at jazz901.org or through the Jazz 90.1 app.
You're going to do a news article, correct?
I am.
Do the United one. That one I found interesting.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
Only the reason stating is because it's that time of year right now that they're pushing it.
Yeah, I know. So UnitedHealth has confirmed for the first time that over 100 million people had their personal information and health care data stolen in the Change Healthcare ransomware attack back in February. And they're just admitting it
now
in October, marking this as the largest healthcare data breach in recent years. In May, UnitedHealth CEO Andrew Whitty warned during a congressional hearing that maybe a third of all America's health data had been exposed in the attack. In June, Chicago Healthcare published a data breach notification, warning that the ransomware attack exposed a substantial quantity of data for a substantial portion of people in America. This week, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office for Civil Rights data breach portal updated the total number of impacted people to 100 million, making the first time that UnitedHealth, the parent company of Change Healthcare, put in an official number on the breach. Data breach notifications sent by Change Healthcare since June state that a massive amount of sensitive information was stolen during the ransomware attack. During the attack, the threat actor stole 6 terabytes of data.
Ouch.
6 terabytes of data. So 6 of most people's some people's hard drives, 16 of some, 12 of some other people's hard drives, 18 of some other people's hard drives. You get the idea. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, encrypted computers were attacked on the network, causing the company to shut down IT operations to prevent the spread of the attack. The UnitedHealth Group admitted to paying a ransom demand to receive a decryptor and for the threat actors to delete the stolen data. The ransom payment was allegedly $22 million. And the threat actors said they didn't delete the data, and then even began leaking some of it to prove that they hadn't deleted it. They're also demanding an additional payment from the data not to be released. Wow. You can't trust the bad guys?
Mm-hmm.
Who'd have thunk it?
Really?
But you can trust us when we say give us a call. Maybe not the answer, but certainly the fact that we are telling you can give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415.
Which makes you wonder, because right now they've just started up until December 5th, I think it is signing up for your health care benefits for anybody retiring.
Medicare, yeah.
Yeah, and my plan through our IT apparently is changing everything again. So,
well, my wife changed her plan last year, but was mad about it, and was saying, "Oh, I should change it back because I don't get this and I don't get this." Now this year, said, "Oh, I really like this plan. I think I'll stay on it."
Yeah,
so I had my boss.
You got to have somebody constantly looking for it.
She goes, yeah, my wife finds all these seminars around town. A lot of times you get free dinner if you listen to their spiel, where they say they can show you the best extra insurance for Part B and Part C. You should go to 4 or 5 of them and get a lot of free dinners out of it, and get a lot of information out of it, too.
Right.
But my boss came to me the other day and said her credit card company just sent her a warning that her information's been seen on the dark web. And I said, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
sure.
It's all there.
And most recently, because of the NPD data breach, 3 billion people have had their data breached. And once your data is breached, there's nothing you can do about it.
That's right.
Because it's already out there.
And that's where we go to what you've been saying for a long time, Nick. You know, your young folks would sit there and say, well, I don't really have anything worth stealing. Yes, you do. You've got a name, an address, and a birthday.
And if someone can get a $500 credit card out of your name, that's $500 they didn't have before.
Exactly right.
Multiplied by 1 million times, because there's 3 billion records in just the NPD breach. And before that was the Experian breach. Every U.S. taxpayer has all of their data breached. And so it's impossible to put the genie back in the bottle. There are services that will delete you from the internet, but you have to keep paying them every month to keep deleting you because you keep getting added back into someone's database so often.
Right.
So the best thing you can do, and I posted a link on this a couple of weeks ago, is freeze all of your credit. If you're in a position where you don't need to apply for credit, new house, new car, new whatever, freeze your credit with all the agencies so that no one can get any credit in your name, not even you. But it used to cost a fortune to freeze and even more to unfreeze your credit, but there was a federal law passed, and all the credit reporting agencies have to allow you to do this. So everyone freeze your credit, and then if you do need to go buy a new car, unfreeze it for a week while they run whatever they need to, and then freeze it back again.
Mhm.
So then nobody can get new credit in your name.
Well, that's what I like also, excuse me, the credit cards. I mean, when I thought mine was breached, I quick went right on my computer, went into my banking site, and turned that card off instantly until I could resolve it with the bank. I didn't have to wait because the phone maze and some of these banking systems are horrific.
I got my credit card stolen once. Now I use my phone to pay for everything I can.
Yep.
Because it uses a one-time number that is linked to my credit card, but isn't my credit card number. So they can steal that all they like because it's already been used. It's no good anymore.
Well, I had to point something out to my bank because I thought mine was breached. So I was trying to go through the phone maze, and they go, well, if you don't have your card handy, please type in your Social Security number. And I do that. Guess what the next question is?
What's your card number?
Please enter the last four digits of your card.
But my card was
Wait a
stolen.
minute.
I
You
don't
just
have
told
that.
me if I don't have it,
yeah.
How the hell am I supposed to put in
that's
the
another-
last four digits?
That's another thing you should do is write down all your credit card numbers, and on the back of the credit card, the phone number you're supposed to call if there's a problem.
And
because
by
if
the
you
way-
lose the card, you're not going to know the number. You're not going to know the phone number.
You can put them into your password manager.
And pass.
And then
Has
they
all
are
mine.
encrypted.
Yep.
That way they are encrypted and you can get them on any of your devices and life will be better for you. All right, before we go to the phones, let us thank Mark for his generous donation. Thank you very much, Mark. And now we're going to talk to a Mark from Greece, New York, who may be the same Mark. Welcome, Mark. What's up?
It's the same Mark.
The same Mark. Thank you again, Mark.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Wanted to give you a few little tidbits about Spectrum.
Yeah.
Spectrum is now officially not supporting any of their TV hardware anymore. They are strictly going streaming.
Yeah, the Zoomy box, was it?
The Zumo box is your one option, or if you have a Roku device, you can stream through that. You have access to a DVR.
The Google streaming boxes, the Apple streaming boxes, you can use anyone's streaming boxes, but they're providing a streaming box now instead of a cable box.
Right. Or you can use your phone or your computer. You can watch it online.
Yeah.
Yep. They only charge you $5 for the box a month, or you can buy the box for $60.
Right. Assuming the box lasts long enough, it's a deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you can buy a Google streaming stick for what is it, $29? Mm-hmm. And get everything else included. So why would you? Whatever, fine.
Yeah, yeah. Also, they are now been rolling out symmetrical internet.
Yeah, much faster speeds. So unplug your cable modem for about 10 minutes, plug it back in again. You may jump from the 100 you've got now. They may jump you to 400 is now the standard speed, and you can buy faster than that if you want.
400 standard, 500 is now 600.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Nope. That's the one I've got. But it can be flaky once in a while.
It's great that there's competition, isn't there? It really drives.
It's great. I actually checked mine. There's a speed test I can run at the command line, which means it's going to be, I think, a little faster. And I'm paying for 500. I'm getting like 540 up and the same down. So I'm getting almost 10% more 8% maybe.
Yeah, best is to run it from your router because that's the closest connection. If
Right.
you try to run it on a Wi-Fi, you're
Mark,
not gonna get
hold
much.
on the line if you've got more questions because we got to take a break. Go ahead, Steve.
I said, yeah, if you run a speed test on Wi-Fi, you're getting your Wi-Fi speed, not the internet speed.
Right. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Back in just a couple of moments with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, Mark from Greece, and you. It is 29 minutes after the hour. We are Soundbites. And make the call, make the pledge, and make your way back here.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Soundbites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. Iran is condemning Israel's retaliatory airstrikes overnight. Iran's foreign minister called the strikes a blatant violation of international law and the UN Charter. Israel reportedly took steps to warn Iran ahead of time it would launch precision attacks early Saturday and cautioned Tehran not to respond. The Pentagon says the U.S. was aware of the strikes ahead of time but was not involved in the action. Both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris will be campaigning in the battleground state of Michigan today. Michelle Obama will be joining Harris for a rally in Kalamazoo, where they're expected to talk about abortion rights, taxes, unions, and tariffs. Trump will be at two rallies today, the first one near Detroit and the second one in Pennsylvania. The CDC says the number of E. coli cases linked to McDonald's is now up to 75, including 1 death and 22 hospitalizations. Lisa Carton, NBC News Radio.
It's pumpkin season and time to don our front steps and tabletops with jack-o'-lanterns. This fall tradition dates back several centuries to a man nicknamed Stingy Jack. Hi, I'm Melinda Myers, horticulturist and gardening expert. The Irish myth says Jack made a deal with the devil and tricked him into not claiming his soul. When Jack died, God would not allow him into heaven, and the devil would not allow him into hell. Instead, the devil sent him into the night with just a burning coal. Jack placed the coal in a carved-out turnip and is said to be still roaming the earth. The Irish began referring to him as Jack of the Lantern, and eventually Jack-o'-lantern. Folks began carving and placing turnips and potatoes in their windows to scare away Stingy Jack. When the Irish arrived in the U.S., they discovered pumpkins made the perfect jack-o'-lanterns. The tradition continues to this day. Check out our website for this and other gardening tips.
Jazz 90.1 is supported by our members and by Lifespan. Scams that target older adults are on the rise, and the consequences can be devastating. Lifespan helps older adults take on scams, fraud, and identity protection. If you've been the victim of a scam, or to schedule a presentation to your organization or group, you may call 585-244-8400 or look online at lifespanrochester.org.
Soundbites on Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Frontier Exchange, offering like-new computers, including desktops, laptops, and tablets. They also offer computer repair and troubleshooting services. For more information and to schedule an appointment, you may call 944-1077 or visit frontierexchange.us. That's Frontier, the letter X, change.us.
What is dementia? Is it the same as Alzheimer's? If someone has memory loss, does that mean they have dementia? Millions of Americans ask these questions every day. Hello, I'm Kevin Jameson, volunteer and president of the Dementia Society of America. Please request our free guide filled with facts about dementia and ways you can keep your brain as healthy as possible. Go to 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call 1-800-DEMENTIA. You want to live your life to the fullest, and we can help.
And now, a check of your Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Rather breezy and rather cool across Rochester, Western New York, and the Finger Lakes here for your Saturday, with changeable amounts of clouds and sun and a passing shower. The high temperature in the mid-50s. We'll find a spotty shower around into the first part of your Saturday night. Otherwise, we'll see patchy clouds and starlight and a gusty northwesterly breeze. Overnight low temperature Saturday night into the upper 30s. And we'll see an ample amount of sunshine for the day on Sunday. Sunday's highs in the mid-50s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now we got, a few clouds out there, 54 degrees out at the airport and 58 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 34 minutes after the hour, we have Mark from Greece still on the line. You still there, Mark?
I'm still here.
What's up?
When I was telling you about the speeds, I noticed the other night on my internet, we were watching TV, and of course I streamed through YouTube TV.
Right.
And my picture froze, and then I hear my son go, "Uh-oh." And I went, "Okay, something's wrong." And it didn't last very long. It came back on, but then I noticed my TV would only stream at like 480p, and he wasn't able to get any speed. I did a speed test. I was like at 29 megabits per second.
Wow.
But my upload was at 400. So I don't know what happened, but it got real flaky, and it stayed like that all night, and then the next day it was fine.
Someone had to unplug and replug the upstream router.
Exactly right.
Something happened. It was really, really strange. It's never happened to me before. It's only started happening a few times after they changed the speeds.
Yeah. I have to say, I have Greenlight, and they've been rock steady.
Yeah,
there have been a couple of times when they've said we're doing maintenance.
Yep.
That's completely fair.
And it's in the middle of the night.
It's the middle of the night. And then there was of course, I'm up in the middle of the night, so it really annoyed me. But there was the one time that they were digging up the main street. I'm on a cross street. They were digging up the main street, went through the cable. Oops. Yep. The city was doing that. And so, that was an unplanned outage, but not really Greenlight's fault. So.
Yeah, I want them, but they're across the main road. I live on a tertiary road, and they're on the main road across the street, but one side of the street has it, the other side of the street doesn't.
Yeah, there are a couple of places like that. Dave had that for a while.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say is this something weird's been happening when I've been on, I got Facebook on my phone, and I know how you feel about that.
Yeah.
But I was going to send you a video. I was going to message it to you, and it was a Three Stooges piece, the one where Pop Goes the Weasel makes him go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
When he's in the fighting ring.
Yep.
And I went to send it, and my phone kept reloading Facebook.
Interesting.
It just keeps reloading it. You go to do something, and it reloads it. It goes to the first video, but then all the videos after that change. So you can't get back to the videos you just saw. The first video's there, but the rest of the minute that as you scroll are gone, and they're different videos. And then you watch one again, and boom, it goes to the first video again.
That's weird.
So I can't figure it out if it's my phone, if it's the app.
I see that every now and then in my browser. Something happened and we have to reload the page. I forget the exact message, but the page stopped responding. We have to reload the page. I'm always guessing it's an ad, that there's a broken link on some ad it's trying to deliver, so it gives up and refreshes the page to get a new ad.
Yep. One thing I might suggest, and again, I know it's a joke, restart your phone. Mm-hmm. Before you do that, clear the cache.
Yeah, I clear the cache every day.
Yeah, but then restart the phone.
Okay, so restart it after I clear the cache and see what happens. Okay.
Right.
Should I try reloading the app again?
Well, if I was about to say, if that doesn't work, try reinstalling the app.
Can you get to the app preferences separately on an Android phone?
It's
probably not the app that's bad. It's probably a preference file.
Well, yeah, you can get into the preferences. Is that what you mean?
No, I delete the preference file and have it rebuild default preferences.
Not easily, no.
Yeah, because a lot of times deleting the app doesn't help because the same preference file is still there.
Right. But you can give those two things a try and see what happens.
I may be able to get rid of that file if I uninstall the app by using some of the special features in CCleaner on the phone.
Yeah, it should uninstall everything, including the preference files.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times it lets you get to things that you normally can't get to.
Well, uninstall it with CCleaner. That's probably your best bet.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you so much.
And
guys,
thanks for your donation. Thanks. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we are on a pledge drive. and we'd like this to be the last week of it. So give us a call. So make that pledge. You can do it securely online at jazz901.org. Hit the big red Donate Now button. You can pledge through the Jazz 90.1 app, or you can give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. Talk to the lovely and talented Cheryl. Takes less than 2 minutes, and you're in. And while you're doing that, see, we're going to give you the opportunity to do that while we stall as I try to figure out why I can't. There we go. We're going to talk to Fred from Rochester, New York. What's up, Fred?
Hey, couple things. So the locking and unlocking your credit score, your credit information, is even easier than what you had said. Now, a while ago, I bought an appliance and they offered a 16-month zero interest, and I thought, well, why not?
Sure.
And I was able to unlock my credit via my phone. They put the app through, it was approved, and I relocked it before I left the store.
Yeah, a lot of times the credit card apps and banking apps have a freeze and unfreeze. If you get the credit agency app, you can do the same thing there.
Yeah, this was right through the credit agency.
Yeah,
I forget which one of the three, but I asked him, I says, which one are you using?
Yeah, there's
And they
three
said-
major ones and about a dozen minor ones, so you have to ask which one they use. So you have to get all the apps just in case.
Yep. So I don't know about the minor ones. I've never dealt with them. But on the minor ones, do I have to freeze those as well?
Technically, yes, but there's no way to know who's using which agency to get their data from.
Right. Is there a list of minor ones?
Yeah, we posted a list a couple weeks ago. Let me see if I can find it again. grc.sc/freeze is the list that Security Now put together, and I linked to that on our page too. Let me find where I put the freeze list.
Yeah, where's the freeze list?
It was back a couple of weeks ago.
The last one I show on the page is the Space Force S02 E07, the 19th.
Yeah, if I don't, I'll bump it to the top of the list.
Okay, and if you have if you have any information on that cassette device that you were using for I have a bunch of cassettes that I'd like to put on my on a hard drive.
Oh yeah, it was inexpensive.
We just found one on Amazon. We found a dozen companies selling what looked like the exact same thing because all the pictures were the same.
It's fairly inexpensive. It's also cheap. You want to be a little careful. Don't drop it.
The cheap was $30.
It was $30. But the point is, it works.
Yeah, I saw one for $36, and I thought that's probably not the one they're using.
No, it's pretty. That's more expensive than the one where you.
Partly because all we're doing is talk radio. We don't need the audio quality.
Oh, okay.
Right. But in our case, one of the things that annoys me about it is that it auto reverses. So when I put in a new tape, I'm not entirely sure which way it's going. I don't. So once or twice I've gotten the second half of the show before the first half of the show. Now I can fix that in Audacity. That's not hard. It's just annoying. You there?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but any one of those is probably the same device, frankly, because it seems to be all the same device. So the one I've got is silver. It's called, I don't remember, but it's very nice.
There's a reshow. There's a
Digital Now. Yeah.
Grace is called.
Yeah, the Super USB cassette capture. That's the one. That's the biggest one we were looking at. We found the same one from a bunch of different companies. $17.
Okay.
12,000 people bought it. And it's got average of 4 stars.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, it was only $17.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, and it'll last long enough to do those 24 tapes, and I'll never use it again.
Right. Yeah, that's I probably have about that many, old music that I like to listen to from time to time, and
if you have an old tape player, you can take the audio out of the tape player to the audio in on your computer and do it that way. But not many computers have audio in anymore, so that's why.
And they come with software, and the software is just Audacity.
Yeah.
Which I already have on my computer, so it wasn't a big deal.
What was the software?
Audacity.
Okay.
And that's available for every operating system. And what it does is an amazing amount of audio processing.
Audacity is the world's most popular audio editing and recording app.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's free.
Okay. Yep.
And it's free.
So then the other question I have is I have a Windows 11 Pro. I don't know, where am I? I have a Windows 11 Pro machine that I was going to do the update.
Yep.
You had mentioned before about the 24H2.
Yep.
And when I do the update, search for updates, it says I'm up to date. But when I look at the about, it's Windows 11 Pro version 22H2, not the 24H2.
Yeah, and the reason for that is it's a rolling rollout.
Okay.
So you simply may not have gotten it yet.
So it is for the 11 Pro?
It should be. There he is. That's a very good question.
Should be for all the 11s.
Yeah, it should be for all the 11s.
But shouldn't he's got 22? Shouldn't he have gotten 23H1 and 2 and 24H1?
Yeah, did you turn off updates?
I have search for updates, check for updates. It says you're up to date. Last check was today at 13:23.
Maybe your computer can't handle it?
No, I don't think. I think you're right. If it's
23H2 should have come out last October.
Right, and 24H2 just came out, and it's available for
now. Yeah.
Every OS. So
it's an NUC 125NK i7 2.
Yeah, it should have updated. If it hasn't, I can only suggest that you. Okay, so it tells you that there is no update available.
Correct.
Is there a manual update?
It just says it's up to date. It doesn't say there's no update. It just the language they use is your device is up to date.
Your current version.
Well, I can only suggest that it's not actually checking. If you've turned off check for upgrades. And there are a couple of programs you can run that will do that.
I have a button that says check for updates, and when I click that, it doesn't come up with anything. It runs for a while, to get the line going across, and it finally comes back to the same thing.
All right. So there are. Okay.
I hate Windows.
Yeah. The problem it could be with the update service, but other people are not reporting that that's a problem. It could be some drivers on your machine if you've got an outdated driver.
That was dated June. You have to be in the Insider program because it wasn't released yet in June. I love it when they put a date on the article, and I hate it when there's no date.
It could be an outdated driver, or it could be a potential issue with your system settings. So you can try manually checking for updates, which you just did.
Mm-hmm.
You can run the Windows Update Troubleshooter.
Okay.
I beg your pardon. The Windows Update Troubleshooter is okay. You go to, all right, Start Settings, System, Troubleshoot, Other Troubleshooters,
I'm putting a link for it.
Oh, good. Oh,
Okay.
good. So the Windows Update Troubleshooter should be the thing that will tell you why you cannot update.
Okay. So the other troubleshooter has. I don't see anything about checking for updates. I see playback.
No, you
camera.
run the troubleshooter, and it will then tell you. It will. So you okay? So start setting system
Right.
troubleshoot other troubleshooters. Under most frequent, select Windows Update and then run.
Okay.
When the troubleshooter has finished running, restart your device, then go to Start, Settings, Windows
Okay.
Update, check for updates.
Let me reiterate. I hate Windows.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So it's the only Windows machine that I have. The only thing I run is 2 pieces of software, and I use it about once a week. And it's more trouble than my other 2 Linux devices and my phone combined.
Amen, brother. Preaching to the choir. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay, those are those 2 things, and thanks to Dave for telling me there was an update on the money dance because I was still at 24.1.
All right, thanks.
All my devices are now up to date except for Windows.
Yeah.
You can always go to the Windows download page and just download a new copies of Windows.
Right.
Okay, I might do that too. See what this does. It's working. It's doing something, but it's just doing something. So, all right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There's a reason that a lot of retired Windows tech specialists run Linux when they retire,
Yeah.
because it's just doggone easier.
I don't want to have to fight with Windows all day long when I go
I
home.
don't.
I don't want to fight anymore.
I found a new program that I did not know ran under Windows. It's called WinGet. And WinGet is essentially the Windows package manager.
Oh.
So it works like apt or yum or any of those. So on my Linux box, because I run a Debian-based program, I can say, as the super user, I can say apt get or apt install a program, and it will install. Under Windows, you can now go to a command line. You have to use the what do they call it? The root users window. I forget what they call it.
Command window?
But you can then say winget install a program, and it will install it. It's and it's fast and it's easy and it's quick.
And you get WinGet from the App Store.
Right.
So why don't I just get my other apps from the App Store too?
Well, you can.
Yeah.
So if you prefer to be in the graphical user interface,
Yep.
but for those of us who are faster at a text line,
Yep.
at a command line, can do it that way. All right, to the phones. Our next caller is Rich from Irondequoit, New York. What's up, Rich?
2 issues, if you have time. First of all, how do you clear the cache on a cell phone, Samsung? And secondly, yesterday I thought I had my cell phone, again, a cell phone issue. I thought I had Avast covering my cell phone, and I got a virus. And I cleared it, saved it, and reinstalled it, and I still have the virus on the cell phone, which I thought I had Avast. So I bought AVG, but that doesn't seem to be helping. So that's 2 little questions for you if you have time.
All right, so on any phone, you have a browser, and we're talking about clearing the browser cache.
Yes.
Chrome calls it, for Android, and the Chrome browser calls it delete browser data.
Right.
They don't call it clear the cache anymore.
Right, so you would go into your browser, and in the upper right corner are the 3 dots. Again, depending on what browser you're running, it might be 3 lines.
Oh, got it.
And then there is delete browsing data.
Those 3 words.
Yes. And sorry?
I say that's interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, and then it just tells you, in my case, it says Do you want the last 15 minutes, the last hour, the last whatever? And it tells you what it would be deleting. You hit the delete data, and it does.
Interesting. That might be the reason I had a virus yesterday, but in any event, I can do that. And now I have protection on the phone, but I still have, I believe I have a virus still.
Well, if it's living in your cache, then first clearing the cache and then running AVG. If you're running AVG or avast, make sure that you do a manual run on it. You can open the app itself and do a manual run and see what happens.
I will do that. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
I'm going to give you some money very soon.
We love to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
And it'd be interesting to know what virus he thinks he has. Is it one of the fake viruses, or is it another type of malware that an antivirus doesn't stop?
Right, and it could be again something in his cache.
Yeah.
That keeps coming up every time he starts the browser.
So something like a search hijacker.
Right.
That changes your search engine. That's not a virus. An antivirus program won't find that.
Right.
You need to run an anti-malware program.
Right.
And are there anti-malware? I'm sure there are for Android.
Yeah, there's several. You go to the Security
Malware
Tango.
Bytes probably has one too.
Right. Security Tango will do that for you. Will not do it for you, but tell you what is available. There's multiple sections. There's a section for Windows and for Android, for Apple's iOS, and for Linux, and for the Mac OS, and just everything. So you can find all of those programs available at securitytango.com. Just another service of the Soundbites crew. And you folks, we appreciate everything you've done for that. We've had several people who've donated specifically to Security Tango, and I appreciate that. It's what keeps the site rolling. I share that money with Soundbites because we have well over 60 gigabytes of data up on the Soundbites server.
You got your to-do list open?
I
You need to add malware bytes to the Android Alamand.
Oh, really? It's not there?
It's not there, no.
All right. Thank you. Add malware bytes to Android Alamand. Okay. Move that to the top of my list. Okay. I love this program.
I'm reading through the Bobaverse because he just came out with book 5, so I'm not going to start now. I can start at book 1, and all through the book he keeps adding things to his to-do list. So then one day he asks his assistant Guppy, "What's on my to-do list?" Well, there's 2,730 things on your to-do list.
My current to-do list is only 11 tasks.
Yeah.
My to-watch to-do list is 58 items.
Yep.
58 items. Thank you very much.
Then he says,
only 5 on my 3D prints to-do list.
Yep. And then there was one passage where he said, "Add that to my to-do list," and Guppy says, "That's already on your to-do list. Would you like to raise it up to the top?" No, I guess.
All right, that music tells us we are done for another week. I want to thank everybody who has pledged during this drive. The people who called in were Mark and Thomas and Fred and Scott. Thank you so much. But for all those of you who pledged online, who are the anonymous warriors keeping us here, we want to thank each and every one of you. Please pledge online during the week, particularly those of you who listen to the podcast in whatever form you listen to it. Truly, we would like to not be begging again next week, but that's entirely your choice. So please make the pledge during the week at jazz901.org. For Dave Enright, Steve Ray, I'm Nick Francesco. Thanks to all of you. We will see you in 166 hours. Be good to one another, will you?
Stardate October 26th.